Hello, dear friends. No human authority will decide when the event will happen. The green light order will come from the source directly. If you don't believe this story, take it as science fiction. Opinion piece. Resistance movement. Spokesperson is Cobra, associated with the Agartha network, located under the New York underground. Japanese astronomer confirmed Planet X. It's not Nibiru and it won't crash into Earth. Paradigm shift in the monetary system. Let's start. The resistance movement refers to a collective and organized struggle of people who oppose injustice through a set of organized activities to bring about meaningful change in society. This term can be applied to a wide range of situations where people come together to fight injustice or human rights violations. According to Cobra, this movement would be located in cities within the Earth. It is a different group than the Agartha network, but they work together. Their mission is to inform the population about activities for the liberation and protection of this planet. This resistance group is not to be confused with the various groups and the individuals working for liberation. However, they are all working towards the same goal, the final breakthrough in this liberation, called the event. This is an event of cosmic importance. No humankind's authority will decide when this will happen. The final word on when the event will happen will come directly from source. The last planet under the control of the dark forces is about to be released, and this will send ripples of light throughout the galaxy. Their spokesperson, codenamed Cobra, derived from two English words, compression and breakthrough, meaning breakthrough compression, is also in contact with off-planet groups such as the Pleiadians, but their information is not channeled, it is received through direct physical contact. The Federation of Light is an alliance or coalition of benevolent and advanced beings working to protect and guide humankind towards a better future. This federation is said to be in conflict with other negative forces that manipulate and control humankind. History. In 1975, a certain intelligence agent by the code name of Michael was fleeing for his life from those who pursued him. He gathered around him a group of 12 agents for protection. As they fled and hid, they discovered a labyrinth of tunnels beneath the New York underground system. They entered the tunnels, disappeared from the surface, and regrouped down there. Thus, the organization was born, having its main command center under the New York underground system. Through the extensive network, Michael still had on the surface many operatives were contacted and many of them joined the organization. Their main goal is to overthrow the dark side and give advanced technologies to humankind. The personal computers we have now were developed with the help of the organization, which had contact with the positive civilization of Agartha inhabiting underground caverns for millennia. They also had contact with positive Andromedans as early as 1977, if not earlier, as a sleek silver cigar-shaped Andromedan ship was also seen in their underground hangar. In the early 1990s, they had some influence in ensuring that the Internet expanded from the military ARPANET into the public domain. offensive. Off-planet task forces launched an extensive and offensive in 1996 to destroy the organization, and there were physical battles in underground tunnels and caverns that nearly destroyed the organization and also nearly annihilated Agartha. In that time of need, a plan was devised to counter this. In early December 1999, the Pleiadians contacted the resistance movement on Planet X and organized an uprising against the Dark Ones there. They were overthrown in about 3 weeks and had to flee to their bases on Mars and the Moon. Since that time, many freedom fighters have entered the underground tunnel systems to join the organization. The two forces were integrated and emerged as one, and are now called the Resistance Movement. Their combined strength has changed the course of events, and the Dark Forces are in retreat. In 2000 and 2001, the Dark Forces lost their bases on Mars and the Moon and elsewhere in the solar system. With the help of the Pleiadians and other forces of the Galactic Confederation, all remaining reptilian, draconian and reticulan forces were driven out of the solar system also in the same period. This caused the Dark Ones to panic and organize 9/11 in order to preserve their last bastion, Planet X. Planet X. Planet X is a star on the outskirts of our solar system. Its surface is not suitable for physical life, but underground is an extensive system of tunnels and bases that was under the control of the Dark Ones until 1999, and is now in the hands of the forces of light. It has a rocky interior and the surface covered with frozen methane ice, giving it a bluish hue. Its diameter is 9,400 miles and its mass is 0.76 Earth masses. The semi-major axis of the orbit is 70 AU and the inclination is 40 degrees. A piece by Japanese astronomer Patrick Likauka stated in 2008 that the hypothetical Planet X should be composed of rock and ice. Its diameter would be between 6,200 and 9,300 miles, and its mass between 0.3 and 0.7 Earth masses. The semi-major axis of the orbit should be between 100 and 170 AU and an inclination of up to 40 degrees. The term Planet X is used to refer to an officially undiscovered planet in the solar system beyond the orbit of Neptune. It is believed that this planet may have a gravitational influence on other objects in the outer solar system. Several astronomers have proposed the existence of Planet X based on observations and anomalies in the orbits and trans-Neptunian objects, such as Kuiper belt objects. These observations suggest that there could be a large massive object that is affecting the orbit of other planets. According to Cobra, the main reason astronomers have not yet officially discovered this planet is because they are told not to report it. In addition, they are merely looking for new planets near the ecliptic, but because of its highly inclined orbit, that is not where Planet X is located. Since it is a fairly large object, it would be fairly easy to see it even in larger amateur telescopes, if they knew where to look. And by the way, it's not Nibiru and it won't crash into Earth. The event. 9/11 would not have turned out as planned. Instead, it served as a trigger for an awakening that helped many humans to realize what is really going on beyond the media. This new awareness has made it easier for the resistance movement to improve its plan. Until 2003, they managed to clear all the deep underground bases and only the top of those bases remained. Since then, the resistance movement has infiltrated around 300 of its operatives into high positions in the intelligence agencies. In 2012, the movement seized most of the gold that was in the hands of the dark ones. It is in the movement's underground vaults, and after the event it will be returned to humankind and will serve as a reserve for a new currency that will bring abundance to all. The movement has much experience in freeing planets and has constant physical non-telepathic contact with Pleiadians and other positive races, providing them with detailed information about each member of the clique, where they are, what are they doing, and even what are they thinking. Green light. Just prior to the event, Source will send a pulse of light through the Galactic Confederation, and the Pleiadians will instruct the movement to use its 300 agents on the surface of the planet to contact the key people and then to begin the operation. After the operation is successfully completed, there may be people who wish to take advantage of the situation by setting up their own governments out of greed and lust for power. But the movement knows who these people are, is watching them, and they will not be allowed to take advantage of the situation. Until a certain degree of awareness is reached on the planet, the movement will be working behind the scenes for the benefit of humankind. It will be revealed not long before first contact with positive beings is made public. They have created a fund of $120 billion, which will be given to humankind along with other prosperity packages. They are in possession of highly advanced technologies, mostly of extraterrestrial origin. They will provide some basic help to introduce 6,000 inventions that were developed by geniuses all over the world and then hidden, and they will introduce some of their own technologies that are even more advanced. Hold on. Our job is to hold on until then, says Steve Biko. Everyone is coming together, so some to continue in the third dimensions and others to tune into the higher realms. It's time for the old song to end and the new song to begin. Right now the orchestra is warming up and there is much discord, but soon the performance will begin, and it is an uplifting performance. All will be forgotten in the immediate sense, not in the long run. Our job is to hold on until then, to provide the bridge from the old to the new, and to keep the portal open until it is time to close it. Our commitment is to get everyone across the bridge who wants to. This is the end of a 26,000-year cycle, a change of era. It is a time of separation between those who need more time to advance and those who are complete with the lessons offered by this grade in the school of life and can now move on to a higher grade. Not all will choose to come with us. Some will choose not to ascend at the time of separation. When the emergency broadcasts end, they will offer no relief from shock and loss. Much worse we will endure it when, in the 10 days of transmissions, we see what they have been doing. Our respect for human beings is likely to be affected. According to Cobra, the only value of having seen some of the videos beforehand is to be able to warn you that it could be traumatizing what you will see. I'm sure you'll never forget it. Not everyone needs to see it, but you should, if you ever think you will have a say in earthly affairs. The corruption extends farther than I ever imagined. Says White Cloud, in quotes, dream the dream and go your own way. You will be followed. You will be honored for what you do and for what you are. The bravest of the brave, the strongest of the strong. Close quotes. Paradigm Shift. Paradigm Shift in the Global Monetary System by Peter B. Mayer. The world is on the verge of a major paradigm shift in the global monetary system. While hardly anyone is aware of it, businessmen are making planned and spending capital as if the world is recovering. Many continue to spend and save a little based on the same expectations, and investors continue to invest as if everything is perfectly fine. The struggle to determine the truth about the Western economy, which is as deeply in debt as possible. The Western world is so deeply in debt that these figures are mind-boggling. All the major central banks are printing staggering amounts of money. One day, the artificial ocean of banknotes will end. When that happens, it will be very difficult. Thus, the collapse of the monetary system would be just around the corner. The mistakes have already been made. Instability is already in the system. The wait is on for that unknown catalyst called the snowflake that will trigger the avalanche. Reflections. Existing itself is a punishment. Most of existing is pain. We all enjoy certain moments, but life is mostly about trying to make sense of anything. According to Steve Biko, rumors abound about when the emergency transmission system, currency revaluation, and the wave of love will be activated. But until then, everyone has to make a living as best as they can to survive. Excuse me. Aristotle, the ancient Greek philosopher, in his book Politics, put forward the concept of an ideal society, whereby the state aims to promote the welfare and happiness of its citizens. He believed that the society of ideas should be based on the principle of distributed justice, where resources and benefits are allocated according to merit and contribution to the community. Wolves in sheep's clothing. According to Peter B. Mayer, the real threat comes from the invisible government, which spreads its tentacles like a giant octopus. It was originally planned in 1948 to be completed in 1984, but people were not mature enough at that time. They want to suppress free speech and introduce hate laws to make personal opinions a crime, where truth is no defense. Their worst nightmare is our non-compliance, the refusal to accept the madness, refusing to comply with our enslavement. The boiling frog is an expression describing a frog being slowly boiled alive. The premise is that the frog will jump out if it is suddenly put into boiling water, but if the frog is put into lukewarm water, that is then slowly brought to a boil. The creature will not perceive the danger and will boil to death. This explanation is often used as a metaphor for people's inability or unwillingness to react or to be aware of ominous threats that arise not suddenly but gradually. Divine film to awaken the sleeping population by Pepe Leaf's Matter. We have tried to make the population understand the fundamental truths of our society and awaken them to the inherent corruption within. It has become so obvious that we would be fools not to notice. They have always done this behind the scenes, but now the cutting has been lifted. The film is turning red on its own, with little help from us. Now, do you wake up for those who refuse to see the truth? You make the truth comically blatant. We are in spiritual war, and many sleepwalk through life oblivious to the reality of evil. But what if the film shouted this truth instead of simply speaking in parables? What if it became blatant and stupefying? Perhaps this is why many feel exhausted and pushed to the limit, like butter spread on too much bread. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.